I think that's very important because I think that we need to, I'm glad that social media and all these women that are influencers are promoting that we learn more about men. Yeah, we do need to learn more about men and understand their behaviors and the whys that they do things the way that they do.
Right.
I think that once we learn more about them, we can live hopefully cohesively with them, right?
With them. That's
Queen maker.
Ooh, the goal, yeah. Yeah,
sprinkle.
Right, because
my girl, sprinkle.
We need men.
We need each other, and we
right.
need to learn how to live in community and cohesively,
right.
and harmony with each other,
right.
Male and female, right? But it takes a lot of time to really learn each other, because you're gonna learn men, but then you're gonna get with a man, and you gotta learn that man. And I think it's the same thing. I think that the more, and I may be wrong, but I think the more women try to learn men, I think the more men are going to hopefully try to learn women in a way that they're like, I'm trying to learn women to understand women, to be the best man that I can be to her.
That's the goal.
That's the goal, not learn women so I
can manipulate.
So I can be a womanizer, but to just really learn. Yeah.
I think that would be a good start. Yeah. And honestly, my perspective on men changed. I always never really I don't know. I think I was very neutral when it came to men, because my dad's a great man, a great father to me and my sisters. So I don't know. I just always I never saw them in a bad light before. But I think having a son, I realized, when I see women finesse men and that kind of stuff, it made me dang, I don't want that to happen to my son. So I had to teach him how to love himself so he can just recognize game.
Right.
So just being able to take myself out of my own shoes and being able to okay, he's gonna be somebody's husband one day. He's gonna be somebody's father. Just make sure that he knows how to lead properly and that he also loves himself in a way that he can recognize what love is not, right? Somebody's not treating you bad, somebody's not using you that tough. That's not love, right? So yeah.
I think that's great because you brought up your dad and how your dad's a great man. I think that when it comes to relationships, I think that we forget that relationships require so many different elements of us, and sometimes we don't even have the emotional bandwidth to be present or to show up, to give the different complexities and different levels of ourselves, right? Because when you're dating Desi and no kids involved, right? It's just you and Desi, y'all traveling, y'all doing this, y'all doing that, and then kids are presented. Now y'all living together, right? So now it requires a different you. It requires a more present you and stuff like that. But sometimes I think that men, and I may be wrong because I'm not a man, right? But sometimes men struggle with saying, you know what, I need some time to myself. I need some time alone. I need some time to just, right?
And also for us too, is don't take that personal. Because I, as a woman who's never lived with a man, by the way, I think it will be a change for me to actually have somebody we're living together. I know that there's going to be some, a lot of conflict because it's new for me and I'm so used to my
two different people raised by two different people.
So
probably raised in different areas.
Right. So I just know that so two lives coming together is very interesting and I just feel like it is room. But I think if two people come together and just really understand that, okay, this is going to take some time and really is committed to each other, then they can figure things out,
Yeah. That's so true. If that's what they want.
If that's what they want. You guys have to have the same goals.
Right? Ladies, gentlemen, right? Because if y'all, if you're trying to, and then this person is trying to do something else, it's like, you got to, call us ace of spade. Ace and a spade of spade.
Yeah, ace and spade. That's why I feel like it's just so important when you're talking to men. I want my man to be he wants to be a husband, not just my man, right?
Yeah.
Because being a husband is just so much more than that.
Yeah,
so it has to already be in him. Right.
So I would say this, right? My dad's a great man, right? But everybody has flaws. I think as I've gotten older, I've come to realize, the flaws that he probably had, because I wasn't there when him and my mom was getting together. But I think I come to realize some of the flaws that he probably had.
Right.
I feel like he was a great father, but probably not a great husband.
Right. And it happens. It happens. It happens all the time. So I think, navigating those type of situations is I had to put myself in my mother's shoe.
Right.
And really made me understand how she may have felt, in those situations where, I'm just a daddy's girl, So I think, again, just being an empath and just being like able to see her perspective, like I have, a different level of respect, but I also respect my dad a lot too, because he righted his wrongs and, was able to just be accountable for it, what he, the mistakes that he's made in life. So I still have that respect for him, because to me, men show up and they also take accountability, because that's what my dad did. Right. So that's what I know. Right. So it's like when a man's not showing these type of skills, it's a red flag for me.
It's a red flag.
Yeah.
Because how are you gonna grow if you don't really,
if you
don't go back and think like, okay, well, this is where I went wrong. This is what I could have done better. Right. This is the role I played. Right. In this situation, being
and it just makes you respect your dad a little bit different too, because he's real. He keeps it real. He knows. And he doesn't try to sugarcoat it. So it's like, to me, that's all I know is authenticity.
Right. So. Right. Because I do think that we do, as a society or as a culture, have to kind of get away from women hating men narrative that they're saying, and men hating women narrative. Because I think it's just, if God was like, I don't, listen, I'm not God, but I would think that if God was looking down and seeing his creation acting like this, I think he would just be like, why don't they just take time to get to know each other? Right. Why create this narrative of who's better than who and who's not? Because clearly, scientifically, even biologically, and even spiritually, we need each other. Yeah, we need each other. So we just have to learn how to coexist and coexist in as much harmony as possible. Right? Because it's yeah. So let me ask you. So how, because you mentioned earlier how you were talking about, like, your dating life and your personal life, but what do you feel like your walk is right now with God? Like,
right now, I feel like I'm like, just, I don't know. I just feel like my walk has just like begun again. So I'm just, I don't know. I think therapy kind of just helped me get back on the right road. And just, I feel like I was a place where I was really down. Yeah. And I literally was crying and screaming and just begging God to just really just be there for me. Yeah. So I saw the work, and it made me just, just believe again. Girl, like, got me crying.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
I can't.
So I would say this, right? So I was in church this morning, and they were singing the song, and I cannot remember the name of the song for the life of me. Oh my God, I'm about to cry too. Don't do that. But I think I remember the words, and it says that you alone are worthy, and you deserve all my love, right? And when they were singing that song, it just, like, it was like, I'm remembering everything from childhood to all the things that, all the challenges, all the difficulties that I went through. And as I'm looking at myself, through the lens of myself now and my childhood, and realizing that although those experiences were not fun, they weren't, pleasant experiences. Like, he was there the whole time.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
He was there the whole time.
The whole time. And I feel like everything that happened to me had to happen. Yeah. Like, it was supposed to be this way. Like, that's why I don't have any regrets about anything, because I needed to go through that.
Yeah. It's so crazy, because it says in the Bible that you may not know what I am doing, but soon you will see. I don't know if I'm quoting it correctly, but you will see, right? Because I do feel like there was things in me that God had to remove out of me, right? God had to bring me to come to self-awareness, right? Of, like, girl, like, you're really struggling in this area. Yeah. You're not gonna like me for putting you through this challenge, but challenge.
Right. And I think we said it on the mindful edit, where we just taking accountability for some of the mistakes. I just feel like I'm in a place
a little bit more, you're coming at the camera. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. And I think we said it in the mindful edit, where we were talking about just being accountable. Like, you played a part in some of this stuff, and just being able to own that, and to just really forgive yourself and to move forward. So
forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. I think that what gave me more peace in life is me forgiving myself.
Me too.
I really,
because I am my hardest critic.
I didn't even think that I was doing that to myself.
Yeah, but you do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And I had to realize, like, you know what, this. And then the moment I forgave myself, it's like a weight lifted off my shoulder, and I literally am like just thriving. In everything I have to do, so.
You're at peace with it because you're like, you know what, I went through it, I didn't die,
right?
I'm still alive,
Hello.
you know. So it was like, like I feel like God knows what's necessary for us,
right?
And like although it doesn't feel good, it's not pleasant, but I think that they call the pruning process, right? It sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. And I remember, I think I seen something on TikTok where it's like, don't let God have to do it. Like when God step in, there were signs. There were signs.
You hear me?
The moment God got to step in and take care of it, and you know, baby, you gotta let him do it.
You gotta let him do what he gotta do.
He showed you many times, but you just was hard of hearing. So.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes like we got relationships and we're just like, he did this and he did that and he, and it's like, girl, God's like, that's not what. Okay, challenge again.
Right, you're not learning.
You didn't learn. I'm like, no, why?
Yeah, but I truly believe everything happens for a reason. I think it's all about perspective, you know. And like I could be blaming, but no, like it's all good, you know. I had to see what I did, how I could have been better, and I just moved forward. It's all about perception.
How I could have treated myself better.
Yeah, that's it. And then I, you know, this wasn't an act of love for myself, so I knew better, and it is what it is. I just have to, you know, handle my consequences and just move forward. So I'm excited. Still.
Like, still excited about life.
Yeah,
I love that. You know, because I